Alright YouTube, today I've got a subscriber video request on how to change the clutch pads on a scooter engine. It shouldn't matter what cc, it should all be the same. Could be a little bit bigger, could be a little bit smaller, it should all be the same. I have seen them smaller. I have an engine that has one smaller. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to get your socket. Let's see. Got to make sure this is resting up in here. Yeah, giddy. I just lost it. Where'd it go? There it is. Sorry about that. So, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. You want to find your socket. This is a 17mm socket. As you can see, it freely spins. You need to take it off this way. This is the normal thread. Now what I do is I take an Allen wrench, and I will usually put it right here. Let's see. Where do I usually put that? Because it can't rest against this. Probably put it in this side. Yeah, that works. Possibly. No, why can't I do this? I think it's because I'm doing it one-handed. Doing it one-handed is a little different. Right, there it'll be fine. You want to take your socket. Loosen that one up. And loosen that one up. Now I'm going to actually use my brand new Black & Decker. Yep. It's quite interesting. Sorry for the shaky camera. Would have used a camera stand, but I didn't have one on hand. So you just want to take both of these bolts out. Sometimes they can be a little tough. Make sure, oh, see, I just lost it. Wait a second. Lost that Allen wrench down inside there. Whoa, where'd he go? I'll retrieve it later. But you want to make sure you get these. You want to make sure that Allen wrench or whatever you use to stop the flywheel, you got to make sure that it doesn't sit on a weak fin, and make sure it doesn't sit on anything weak. You don't want it to sit anywhere on the coil. You can damage your coil. That's the best way I know of doing it. Just somehow locking that up. So both of these are off now. As you can see, pull that off. And pull that off. And the clutch pads come right out. Okay, now let's pretend that these old clutch pads are the new ones, which these have a lot of meat on them still. They're still just fine to use. You want to put them back on, right? So you take the bolts, you spray them up with a little WD-40, which I've already done. I did that a while back. And you put the first one in. Make sure it's all lined up like that. Now here's a little trick here. There's this little washer thing here. It's all swivelly. I can't remember what they're called. They like to get pinched under this ridge here. They like to get pinched right under that ridge, and it'll bend them up and break them. So make sure when you're putting it on to thread it on by finger, and then make sure you don't pinch those little things before the threads. You know, that little ledge. See, that one's threading on just fine. That thread thing's moving around, or that washer thing. Gonna want to lock that back up. I'm using an Allen wrench. Probably not the greatest idea to use an Allen wrench, but that's what I use. And then you tighten these back up again. Funny story. I had a friend a while back. His name was Alan. Funny thing is I have a lot of adult friends. Why, I don't know. But I make a lot of good friends with more adults than kids my age. I just think sometimes kids my age can be a little dramatic about things. And I don't like dramatic crap. Anyways, his name was Alan. I won't give you his last name, but his first name's Alan. And he always used to ask me to get his Allen wrenches whenever we were working on stuff. I used to go over and help him work on his 1978 Ford Bronco. I sat in his shed, he wrecked it, and we kind of rebuilt it and fixed it up and helped him work on his four-wheeler. And he gave me a few things. He gave me, that reel lawnmower. If you guys are good subscribers and you've been with me for a long time, that REEL, the reel lawnmower with the 2 horsepower brakes and strap on it. He gave me that. And he also gave me my first rideable, the big red rideable. He gave me that Wizard push mower. He's just a really good friend of mine. So he'd always ask me to get his Allen wrenches. I'm like, well, aren't they out in your shed? And he's like, no, the one's in the toolbox. Yes, you have a toolbox out in your shed. And there's a whole bunch of Allen wrenches out there because your name's Alan. I used to give him a hard time about that. Oh, good times. Anyways, so that's simply how you do it. You want to make sure, I use WD-40 for it. You just want to use a light lubricant for those because you want them to move around. You don't want them to be rusty. Because if they're really rusty, you have to get the engine to rev up a little higher for this to go out. And you just want this to go out as soon as the engine will allow it, But make sure you lube those up a little bit. And make sure there's no lube on these clutch pads. Because if you do get any lubricant on those clutch pads, you're kind of screwed over. You're going to have to use some brake cleaner. Please be safe when you're using brake cleaner. If you heat it up, start on fire, it can produce a very harmful gas that can kill you. Interesting enough. It's called phosgene gas. If you guys know what phosgene gas is, that's what brake cleaner can produce. Very scary stuff. Used it in World War II. Enough random talking. That's how you do it. That's how you change out your clutch pads. It's pretty simple, except for those who don't know how to do it, which I'm fine with people asking me how to do things. That's why I make videos. If you guys have any questions, throw my way about small engines like this, car engines. I do a little bit of work on car engines. I might be able to answer your questions. Not so much sure on the car engines, but I do work on them. Small engines like this, four-wheeler engine, go-kart engines, 4-cycle, 2-cycle, 4-stroke, 2-stroke. Same thing, people call them differently. Go figure. Any questions? Go down in the comments, leave me a comment. Go up to my channel, wherever that may be. Can't remember. Leave me a PM. Either way, I'll get you a video about it. And hopefully it'll serve you pretty quickly. Unless I don't have it here with me or whatever. So, see you later, YouTubers. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.